We're going to be talking about Antifa Santa Claus. He's going out saying a lot of really stupid things. He published a video like maybe less than a week ago talking about what is happening in Portland and other major cities throughout the United States. He's just completely putting the law enforcement on blast. He's making demonstrably untrue claims, unsubstantiated claims, making claims that have just been proven completely false. I don't understand why he's doing it. I'm not going to sugarcoat this video. Two things are going on here. Either the Yankee Marshal is just completely fucking stupid and he's opining on matters he doesn't understand because he's a dumb, befuddled old man, or he's just a serial exaggerator. He's just a fucking liar, and he is throwing all this slime on law enforcement because he's got to stick up his ass about them for whatever reason. So now he's deliberately participating in the fake news. He is now deliberately running interference for the far leftists out there that are promoting this narrative, promoting this ethos that law enforcement, these spooky law enforcement guys, Trump's goon squads, Trump's death squads are marching throughout the streets of Portland and other cities that are super peaceful, by the way. And he's rounding them up, randomly rounding them up.
But since then, I've seen a lot of evidence that now they're not just defending the federal building. They're marching through the streets dressed as soldiers, pretending to be police with police badges, and they're not police. And just randomly rounding people up, taking their picture, taking their fingerprints, letting them go.
That's what fucking Yankee Marshal said. They're being randomly rounded up. Yeah, that's what police do. They like to randomly arrest people and detain them for no fucking reason whatsoever. It's all random. There's no method to it at all. It's just random. Okay, whatever. They're dressed as soldiers pretending to be cops or pretending to be police. That's what he said. As far as I know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but ICE, Border Patrol, the FBI, the ATF, Secret Service, and there's a handful of other ones, other organizations, but I thought, I'm under the impression they have arresting powers. Like if I were to, I don't know, make a credible threat against an ATF agent, I would probably be dragged before a judge and my ass would be in prison. If I were to throw a device that goes boom at a federal building, if I try to light a building with federal employees on fire, I'm probably going to go to fucking prison. I'm going to be locked up. But I don't know, maybe they're just pretending and I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm the dumbass and Yankee Marshal is some kind of, his political acumen just clearly surpasses mine. Whatever, man. Let's just, again, they're randomly rounding people up. That's what he said. Well, I got this article pulled up from Oregon Live, so this is a reputable source. So judge denies Oregon Attorney General's motion to restrict federal police actions. Ooh, federal police. Remember, they're pretending to be police, but this article calls them police. They're advertised as federal police officers, but they're pretending. Okay, whatever, Antifa Marshal, whatever you say. So Mosman, who's the judge presiding over this case, said in his ruling that the state has presented just one example of an arrest without probable cause and one example of an unreasonable seizure. That is the sum total of the evidence before me that underpins the legal injuries the state asserts in its brief. In both instances of a federal seizure, it is either admitted or clearly visible that the agent's uniforms say police. Beyond the two examples, the state failed to show that the federal officers were involved in any widespread unlawful practice or that others would be harmed in the future, Mosman found. And he quotes, "It has presented no evidence of any official orders or policies and has presented no evidence that these allegedly illegal seizures are a widespread practice," the judge wrote. Despite the broad language in the complaint, Oregon has shown at most that this type of seizure has happened twice. Wow, so the claims that these people were unmarked, they're in unmarked vans. We don't know who's snatching up these innocent, peaceful protesters off the streets. They just look like goons. They look like death squads. They look like little Nazis. We don't know who they are, but we know that Trump sent them. Well, that theory is shot out the window. Again, local politicians in Portland brought this incident before a fucking judge, and the judge, his words, they brought no evidence. So the Yankee Marshal, he's got the evidence. According to him, he's got all the evidence. He's seen it with his own eyes. Well, I would like to examine this for myself. I think your claim should be brought under scrutiny, Yankee Marshal, don't you think? Isn't that the right thing to do? Fucking bullshitter, man. What a fucking idiot. Like, how do people get the balls to fucking go out and say brazenly stupid lies and think that they can get away with it? It gets worse. Later on, the Yankee Marshal says this.
Should federal officers be in states enforcing laws, proactively protecting people? Should they be doing that? According to the Constitution, no, they shouldn't. That's not their job. We have people whose job that is already. They're called the police, county police, city police, county sheriff, state patrol, National Guard. We've got all the people we need to do that already.
So should federal officers be enforcing and protecting people? According to the Constitution, no. According to the Yankee Marshal, no. That's not their job. It's not their job, eh? Well, as far as I can tell, there's already precedent in place, legal precedent in place for federal officers to intervene in local matters on the state level, depending on the situation. But I'm curious because he's the one making the claim. The onus is on him to explain himself. So where in the Constitution does it state that these federal officers aren't allowed to protect or enforce certain laws? Like, I understand that some laws passed on the federal level may be bullshit and impossible to enforce and, define. I get all that. I get all that. But still, generally speaking, what are you talking about? Where in the Constitution? I mean, cite your source, please. I would really like to know just how far this bullshit can go. I want to read something. We're gonna go into history. We're gonna have a little history lesson here. So here's a picture of this young child, and I highlighted this just so you understand where I got this from. So this is about Ruby Bridges. This is what she looks like now, or this is 2011. I think she's still alive. She was a young child in the mid 1960s, and she was discriminated against because of the color of her skin. They wouldn't allow somebody like her to go into a school where the majority of the students are white. That's just how it used to be in this country. It was very unfortunate. It was really disgusting how they treated these young black children or any child that went through this. Anyways, they ended up striking down, segregation. They ended up striking down, these segregated schools, and there were attempts made to start integrating, black children with the white children, and all would be peachy. Well, the local law enforcement was not interested in protecting this girl or ensuring that her rights aren't violated. She had to endure many death threats. There's been movies and documentaries made about this. This really happened. This is fucking real, guys. Nobody was interested in doing the right thing and ensuring that this girl would be safe. But here on this Wikipedia page, it says Bridges and her mother were escorted to school by 4 federal marshals. So the federal government had to step in because the local government refused to do its job and protect the citizenry. But according to Antifa Marshal, the federal government doesn't have any right to do this. Here's a picture of it. Yeah, these are the federal officers, looking really dapper. They got their suits, they got the little badges, little armbands. I don't know how I feel about those. And here's the very tiny Ruby Ridges, just sweet innocent kid. People wanted to kill her. They threatened to poison her. It sucks, but this happened. But they don't have a right to do this. They don't have a right to do this, according to the Yankee Marshal. It's another incident. FBI had to get involved. This was about the murders of Cheney, Goodman, and Schwerner. This event was made into a really good movie, really sad, called Mississippi Burning, starring Gene Hackman, who I love and adore. It's basically about these young activists. They were peaceful, by the way. They legitimately peaceful. Their aim was to ensure that Black Americans were not discriminated against, that their rights were not violated, that they weren't disenfranchised. They got them, to register to vote, that sort of thing, and they got murdered. I'm almost certain some of the people involved were law enforcement. The United States Navy had to send in about 100 troops, 100 sailors, to help look for these guys because they didn't know where they were. The FBI had to come, looking for these people, and it was very upsetting. The family was heartbroken. I think they got tipped off. I'm almost certain they got tipped off. I'm going to leave a link in the description to this wiki. And they found the bodies, and this is it. This is their grave. This is what was left of them. But according to the Antifa Marshal, the FBI has no right to intervene in these matters because the police exist. Sheriffs exist. This exists. That exists. Elections exist. So you can just vote these people away if you don't like what's going on. Well, people can't wait for a fucking election to ensure little kids can go to school, to ensure these horrific murders can get solved, or to ensure people aren't getting burned alive in their own fucking homes or having their places of work burned to the ground by these violent Black Lives Matter activist thugs. I just don't understand, man. Like, Antifa, Yankee Marshal says that he was ex-military. He used to be on the police force, and he's an old man. He's lived a good life. He has a good, really nice sized audience here on the platform. And I don't understand what would compel him to lie and be dishonest. There's no excuse for it. And I don't believe he's stupid. I honestly don't believe he's stupid. But hey, I could be wrong. He could be a dumbass. And if that's the case, don't go or trust Yankee Marshal for any political analysis, because you're not going to get anything honest. He's demonstrated he's either unwilling to speak honestly about these things, or he just doesn't understand these things, and he's just going to talk out of his ass. You want solid political analysis? Tim Pool, Jared Taylor, James Alsup, Matt Christensen, Vincent James. Did I say Vincent James already? I love Vincent James. Fucking awesome dude. These guys know what they're talking about. Yankee Marshal doesn't. Last thing I want to touch on is Mr. Guns and Gear. Again, he was just... I'm going to link the video in the description so you can see for yourself, but he continues to take cheap shots at this guy. He continues to just relentlessly talk shit. After his bullshit apology video, after smearing and maligning this guy's reputation, and he just can't shut his fucking mouth. And he deleted these videos that he made about Mr. Guns and Gear, acting as if it never happened. Well, it did happen. I archived the video on my BitChute channel. I did a response video to it. There's a handful of other people who did responses to it, just clowning on the Yankee Marshal and his dishonesty and his disgusting behavior. Yeah, man, you're not qualified to do this. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a fucking liar, or you're dumb. Just stop. Honestly, just stick to talking about pistols and shit. Stick to what you know, because you don't understand politics. You're not on my level. You're not on the level of some of these other my fellow contemporaries like Sargon of Akkad, Jared Taylor, Stefan Molyneux, Ramsey Paul. You're a fucking idiot, dude. You're a fucking idiot. This shouldn't be surprising to anybody, because he made a video going into Chaz, getting smacked around, and then he made it clear his intent was to make them look good. His intent was to help them out and promote a good image for those young guys who are just trying to do whatever in the Chaz zone, the autonomous zone. Man, one thing I do agree with: just because we're scared or we're worried about some current events, it doesn't mean that we need to dispense with our rights, that we should rely on other people to come and save us. I made a video that aged like fine wine. I think it was something like "They're Not Coming to Save You," and it was about being self-reliant, being independent, learning how to be competent with a firearm. Doesn't matter if it's something expensive or cheap, just whatever you can get your hand on, whatever is reasonable for you and your home situation. Because the cops ain't coming, guys. The federal officers are likely not going to, pick up the slack that is absent among the local law enforcement. And to their credit, I think they're not doing the wrong thing. It's just a shame that the fucking idiot governors or idiot mayors like Ted Wheeler and the governor of Portland, Sisolak, Whitmore, Newsom, so on and so forth, all these fucking idiot governors, all these wacky Democrats like Cuomo and de Blasio, they're allowing this shit to go on. And in a lot of these states, they got duty to retreat laws. They have very draconian gun laws that prevent honest to God good Americans from arming themselves, and it sucks that there's a lot of fear mongering about firearms. So there's just a lot of people who are just flat out afraid to use a firearm because they're scared. Well, that's why I do the content that I do. I don't want people to be scared. I take apart guns. I speak in a way that everybody hopefully understands, and You know, and that's it. You know, and I think all the good gun channels out there, all the good people out there, please just do, and all the fans of us, all the subscribers of not just me, but all the other prominent firearm creators, be nice to people who don't own firearms. Be gentle. You know, scary times, yes. I think we'll get through it. But people like the Yankee Marshal need to be called out. Fuck that idiot. Sick of him, man. Sick of it. Peace out.